Okay, let's do the level 7 technical drawing. First things first, name class date across the top, guidelines. Next, let's take a look at the isometric view. First, let's look at it as if we're looking down from the top. We can see that we would see a rectangle here, and we'd see this interesting kind of sort of like a sled shape or like a clog. We know that this is going to be our baseline, so in the top view here, we're going to look at it with this being on the bottom and this being on the top, and this is the right and this is the left, like that. From the side, we are going to see that it's 2 inches overall with a little ½ inch part here, and this is going to come like that. Now, we can see hidden geometry in the isometric, so we have to start thinking about where are we going to see the same hidden geometry in the drawing. And I think from the side view, we are going to see this line hidden, because if it lines up with this, just imagine it's going to be like that. So from the side, we're going to kind of see this line behind the face of the object here. From the front, we're going to see a point here, and it's going to kind of taper off to the right, and then we're going to see this upside down L shape. So let's get started and draw the top view. We can see that it's 2 inches overall in terms of width. It's going to be 1.5 inches high. And again, I drop these lines down so that my side view is going to line up with my top view. Let's look at the dimensions in the isometric and kind of lay them out on the baseline of the top view. And then we're going to drop those lines down as well. While we've got our ruler vertically, let's take a look at the depth of the top view. 1.5 inches with 1.25 inches coming down from the top. I've sort of outlined the footprint of the object. Now I've got everything I need to sort of connect everything together and draw all the little interior parts and angled views. Okay guys, I just discovered a mistake. This right here should not be 1 inch, that should be 3/4 inch. So on your packets, make sure that you correct that, and I will make a lot of notes also when I give you the assignment. Now that I've drawn all of the angles, what I want to do is go ahead and identify which lines I want to keep. And I just found another mistake. I need to erase this line. Instead, there's an intersection there. This is one of the reasons why when you are doing your technical drawing, you always do your lines lightly the first time, because you never know, even your esteemed teacher who has been doing this for a long time can make a mistake and need to erase it. I'm going to leave these lines in for now just because I might need them for dimensioning later. Now we can kind of go ahead and add in the side view. Remember, the side view is going to have a piece of hidden geometry in it. From the side, I can see that this is where the hidden geometry should be. So, as I go in and add my dark lines, I can save this for last and then add the hidden geometry. Note how whenever I'm doing a dashed line, the dashes always begin and end at the intersections with the lines next to them. Now we can work on the front view. Remember, that's the one that had the mistake in it, so I want to make sure that I correct for that. as you look at the top view, I want you to see why everything looks the way it does. What does each plane represent? And actually, these two right here are slanted backwards. So those are actually the steep edges of faces of the object that we're seeing at an angle. And here you can see the upside down L shape that constitutes that. From the side, we're seeing this face of the object nice and long with the hidden geometry behind it. And now this is the angled slope of that face going away from us. And then this rectangle is here. So everything kind of lines up nicely. We've represented all the visible faces of the object. Now let's add labels and dimensions. And there we go. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit because there's a lot of weird little lines getting in the way that I don't want to confuse my trusty manufacturer with. Doesn't have to be perfect, but this shows you everything that's going on. I want to draw your attention also to something that's going on with the dimensions. You can see sometimes that if your text doesn't fit in between the regions that you're dimensioning, you can put it outside and just sort of label the dimensions that way, as long as it's kind of clear what's being labeled to what. And as always, you want to see that they always line up on the same baseline, and it's clear what they're actually pointing to. The lines do not touch the actual drawing, but they sort of point towards the obvious part that they are indicating. So that's level 7. Do a great job.